showed up at my mother-in-law's house on Christmas morning with our 4-month-old daughter, and my husband told me I ruined everything. I woke up at 5:30 a.m. to the sound of my husband getting dressed in the dark. Every Christmas morning since we got married, he left before sunrise to go to his mom's house and help her cook. And every year I woke up alone and waited for him to come back around dinner so we could finally exchange gifts. I accepted it because I loved him and it seemed important to him even if I didn't fully understand why. But this year we have a 4-month-old daughter, and I assumed everything would be different. I sat up in bed and asked if he was really leaving. He kissed my forehead and said, "It's just one morning, babe. I'll be back for dinner." I asked him to please stay this year because it was our daughter's first Christmas and I wanted us to be together. He said, "You know I do this every year. I'll make it up to you tonight." Then he walked out. I sat there in the dark holding the baby while she fussed. Presents still wrapped under the tree, her little stocking hanging above the fireplace. I looked at my daughter's face and realized I was about to spend her first Christmas morning completely alone because my husband had to go help his mom make a turkey. I got her dressed, packed the diaper bag, strapped her into the car seat, and drove to his mother's house to see what was so important. I thought I knew what I would find when I got there. His mom in the kitchen, maybe his sister helping with the turkey, my husband peeling potatoes. But when I pulled into the driveway, there were way more cars than a cooking situation would explain. I grabbed the baby and walked toward the front window to see if I could spot him. And what I saw through the glass made me feel like I was hallucinating. My 35-year-old husband was sitting cross-legged on the living room floor in matching family pajamas, tearing open a wrapped present while everyone watched and clapped like he was putting on a show. There was a full Christmas morning happening inside with a massive tree surrounded by gifts and stockings hanging on the mantle, and one of them had a childhood nickname embroidered on it that I recognized from a stocking I found hidden in his closet years ago. I asked him about it back then, and he changed the subject so fast I never brought it up again. Now I understood why. His mom walked over with a plate and hand-fed him a bite of cinnamon roll while he chewed with his eyes closed like this was some kind of annual ritual. And then she wiped his mouth with a napkin like he was a toddler. Then someone in a full Santa costume sat down in a big armchair, and my husband got up off the floor and walked over and climbed right onto Santa's lap while the whole family gathered around with their phones to take photos. He was giggling and pretending to struggle like a 5-year-old meeting Santa for the first time. And when Santa asked him what he wanted for Christmas, he actually answered. I couldn't hear what he said through the window, but I watched his mouth move, and I watched everyone laugh, and I watched my husband beam like a child who just asked for a bike. Santa patted him on the head, and my husband leaned into it like a golden retriever getting scratched behind the ears. This was a 35-year-old man. This was my husband. This was the father of my daughter. I stood there holding our 4-month-old baby while he lived out some kind of childhood fantasy like we didn't exist. I walked through the front door. The family seemed genuinely happy to see me. His mother rushed over to look at the baby and said, "Oh my goodness, I had no idea you were coming. I wish I had set out an extra stocking." His sister hugged me and said, "I always thought it was so strange you never came too, Christmas morning, but he said you preferred quiet holidays." I asked what else he told them, and she said, "Just that you like to sleep in, that big gatherings overwhelm you, that you wanted the baby's first Christmas low-key at home." My husband appeared and grabbed my arm and pulled me into the kitchen and closed the door behind us. He turned to me and said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "It's our daughter's first Christmas and you left us alone." He said, "You knew this was my thing and you were supposed to respect that." I said, "What is this?" Because from what I saw through the window, it looked like you were playing make-believe while your actual child sat at home without a father. He went very still and said, "Christmas morning is the only thing I have left from before my life got complicated." I said, "What does that mean?" He looked at our daughter in my arms and said, "I need one day a year where I'm not somebody's husband and I'm not somebody's dad. Just one single day where I can be a kid again with no responsibilities and nobody needing anything from me." I stared at him. I said, "Do you understand what you just said to me?" He said, "I mean it." I said, "Say that again while you look at her." He looked right at our daughter and said, "I need one day where I'm not her dad." His mother was standing in the doorway behind him. Her hand went to her mouth. He saw her and he didn't take it back. I walked out without another word. I drove home and walked past the tree with all the presents still wrapped underneath it. I should have been sitting on the floor with my daughter helping her tear open wrapping paper for the first time. Instead, I walked into the bedroom and started packing a bag.